Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Friday Night Smackdown ended the evening tonight with a main event that was simply fantastic. The Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship did not disappoint, as it featured fantastic action, was easily the match of the night, and had a surprising, very shocking ending that I don't think any of us seen coming a mile away. And I am very thankful. I am super grateful for this moment, because it was really the only thing worth watching tonight, because the rest of the show, despite having a surprise NXT call-up, the latest installment in days of Roman Reigns' lives, the soap opera that is ongoing with the Roman versus Uso family thing that is happening, there was really nothing much going on for this show. It actually started to feel like a Monday night at the start of it. Thankfully, by the end, it was made right with that Intercontinental title match. Still a lot of things wrong and a lot of work to do on SmackDown, and we are going to talk about it all right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Friday Night Smackdown Review and Reaction Show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Perhaps the even bigger story coming out of Friday Night SmackDown, other than the Intercontinental Championship main event, is the fact that the WWE has announced its return to live touring, a 25-city tour starting off in July, on July 16th in Texas. I think it's Dallas, Texas, going to host the first event. It's a great news, fantastic news. I can't wait, even myself, to get my ass back into an arena to just experience it. It's something that, you take for granted, and now that we might be able to have it back again, I'm looking forward to having the fans back in attendance. It's going to make these shows feel so much better, much more like they used to feel, and the WWE Universe's voice will actually be heard. We're not going to get canned audio from the WWE. Well, I'm sure we still will get that, but we will get the genuine response from the fans as well, to really gauge where we are all at as a universe. Who do we want to cheer? Who do we want to boo? We all pretty much have a sense of that, but it's going to be fantastic to have the fans back into attendance. It may actually make segments like they started this show off with feel necessary, feel worth it, feel important, feel like they matter in some way, because tonight Sonya Deville wanted to kick off SmackDown with a parade of champions. Now, this wasn't an actual parade. They weren't walking down the street holding batons. They didn't have marching bands. SmackDown champs, here they are in a row, look at them stand. There was nothing special about this. We had all the SmackDown champions standing up there all in a row, with the exception of Roman Reigns, of course, because he's too big for this. Even Roman Reigns knew that this segment is dog shit, and I'm not even going to be part of it, because what is it? What is a parade of champions? What are we parading them for? Why are we just suddenly celebrating all the champions of SmackDown? Because WrestleMania Backlash was such a huge success? Let's just give a round of applause to everybody with their version of our ugly belts. Let's all give a clap to all our champions. Who are our champions? We got Bianca Belair, the most underutilized champion up there for sure. We have Natty and Tamina, the surprising duo that just took the world by storm for some reason, and were gifted the championships due to Tamina's sudden rise in popularity. Whether it's something the fans are doing to be kind of silly, or whether it's absolutely genuine, that's for everybody to decide. But there they were. They're in the parade. They got their float. Natty and Tamina up there with their champions. Of course, we have Apollo Crews standing there with his Nigerian gigantic Captain Commander Abadabba Yabba Zabba Zaziz, or whatever the fuck his name is. And he's the only one that says anything during this parade. He, of course, is just spouting his usual, I'm the champion, I'm at a disadvantage tonight, but I'm going to still be victorious and still be your Intercontinental Champion. And that was essentially it, as they called out for Roman Reigns, and then Paul Heyman came out to the Shield music. Why? Why? We were so happy and so grateful to the WWE for finally changing Roman's music, but Paul Heyman comes out, and because he's his advocate, he gets his old song. Since when does Paulie stop coming out to the ECW theme? At the very least, you could have had him come out to Roman's actual new theme song, being that he's affiliated with the tribal chief. Like, it was like a what? Why are you doing this? Definitely one very rare moment where Paul Heyman gets himself a poop hammer. Now, I know it wasn't his decision. I'm sure he didn't go to Vince and be like, Vince, do me a favor and let me come out to the Shield song because I'm Paul Heyman and that's what I do. And Vince was like, okay, no problem. It's my favorite song ever and I miss it so much. We'll even give you Roman's logos on the screen. Fire that other bastard. It's just some random jerk walking by because, that's what Vince likes to do. But this segment was your usual from Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns, he's not going to come out because you want him to. He's going to come out at his own leisure. He'll have his own parade of champions because there is only one champion, and that is the champion, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. And can you argue with the guy? I mean, what the hell reason would there be for Roman to take part in this ridiculous opening ceremony whose true existence was only there to kickstart the 6-woman tag team matchup, which was the first match we would have on the night? What a stupid reason, or what a stupid precursor. Just because they're all out there, we're going to have this sudden attack from Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax jumping Bianca Belair from behind because Bayley came out talking shit about Bianca and saying that she's not really the champion. She cheated with her ponytail and all this shit. And now we have a 6-woman tag team matchup. First of all, the last thing we need is another unnecessary 6-person tag team match. But look at how little the WWE cares about the SmackDown Women's Championship. Not Bianca Belair as a performer, but as the championship, as a property in and of itself. They can't come up with anything other than let's just lump in whatever we're doing with the tag team championships and take that and add the women's title to it, because we can't be bothered coming up with 2 separate things, which is really just lazy and bad. And it was an awful foot to step off with to start this show. Awful. The only thing that could have made this worse is if Charlotte Flair came along and ruined this, or Alexa Bliss came to play some voodoo magic nonsense, because we had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler showing up, and the announcers were like, well, this is because of the quarterly brand-to-brand invitational. Meanwhile, they were the only ones to take advantage of this. I don't know. It just seems like a stupid way to get around the fact that they have no fucking clue what to do with their women as a whole, so they just keep lumping them together in the same segment to essentially give us the same shit we've been getting over and over again. This is just setting up Bayley and Bianca for a rematch at Hell in a Cell. We are guaranteed another rematch now between Natty and Tamina, the new champs, going to defend their titles against the former champs, Nia and Shayna, because tonight in this 6-man, to make this even worse, now the action was actually not too bad for a 6-person matchup. The girls were okay. It wasn't the worst as far as performance goes, but this match ended with Shayna Baszler pinning Natalya. Now, we're not defending Natalia. We're not a huge fan or mark of Natalia, but the bottom line is, and you guys that have been longtime fans of this channel, you already know what's coming, and you already know the poop hammer's being dropped, because one of the biggest pet peeves I have is when champions lose. And now, not only did Natty, the tag team, one half of the tag team champions, get pinned tonight, but she was also on a team that consisted of the SmackDown Women's Champion. So I guess if one champ loses, we all have to lose. All three women who represent the top of their division lost tonight to a team that's not even on their show, and a woman who has already been beaten multiple times for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I just don't see the logic there. And now SmackDown was barely even started. They already got me pissed off at Monday Night Raw, because I already know we're going to get another rematch and another opportunity for the WWE to put the women's championships back on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I prematurely celebrated. A couple of weeks back when they lost the titles, I was sitting right here in this chair talking to you very sledge heads of Sledge Nation, and I was doing a whole Nia Jax. They ain't like most girls because they ain't the champs no more, and whatever the fuck I said, and it was really great, and I was really happy, and this is what I get. This is what I get for letting my guard down even this much and showing a little bit of happiness, because here we are on the precipice of the possibility of everything that has happened in the last couple of weeks being erased. I could totally see WWE doing that. They gave Tamina her moment. They gave Natty a championship. Now let's just go back to the status quo. Why wouldn't they do that? What reason would they have not to do that? So we had a match that was made, this 6-person match, which was essentially 2 rematches in one, to book 2 more rematches in the future. What did I say about it starting to feel a little bit more like a Monday in here? Ugh, I was starting to sweat. Absolutely ridiculous. The first of multiple distraction finishes on the night, regardless of what you thought about any of the matches tonight. Whether the quality of the match was good, whether you are into the superstars that were in said matchups, every single match tonight had a distraction spot. I almost said disqualification. No, but there was a distraction spot or some sort of an interference spot in every single match that took place. 50% of the time, it had a direct impact on the finish. The women's match was one of those times. Natty taps out. All the women's champions lose. Great. I was hoping to go off in different directions here, but we're back to the same old shit. Big E tonight had a tremendous fiery promo. When you watch him deliver this promo, he's got that preacher sort of tone to his voice and in his delivery, and he's encapsulating of everything you would want in a WWE champion. His promo game is fantastic. He's a physical specimen. He's big. He can move. He's agile. He's athletic. And on the mic, it's hard to touch Big E. He gets you motivated even when he's not trying to get you motivated. He's talking about himself, and now he's going to regain his championship, and you just feel pumped. It's that power of positivity that Big E possesses. And I hope that this is a precursor to him being built up to be the one to take down Roman Reigns. Imagine all this time, Big E maybe regains the Intercontinental Championship. He goes on to feud with some predominant names along the way, only culminating at WrestleMania next year to be the one to unseat Roman after nearly a year and a half of being the man at the head of the table. I think that would be fucking great, because even in just a tiny little promo, Big E shows that he's got the charisma of a champion, he's got the look of a champion, and I think he would be a great face of the company. And who better? Who else can they get to take down this version of Roman Reigns? You got plenty of time to build it up properly. That's where I would go from here. Interestingly enough, in retrospect, looking back at this, this was kind of a little hint to all of us. The next thing we would see after Big E's promo was Aleister Black's latest installment in his Tales of the Dark Father. It was called The Beautiful Pain, and he was referencing his father's lessons being pretty much all over him. The tattoos all over his body were art, painful art, that were reminders of the lessons that father has told him. He had referenced us. He said we, the fans, and I guess everyone else on the roster, are sick and dying animals, and it was time to cull the herd. Now, this particular segment differed from the other ones in a couple of ways. Most notably was that there was very little animation here and a whole lot more Aleister, I'm creepy, backstage in smoke and candle stuff. And I'm wondering if WWE just decided, hey, we're spending too much money on these cartoons, let's reel it back a little bit and kick this thing off. I would have been down for a couple of more weeks of this, or if they want to continue this as a storytelling device just for this character, I would enjoy that. You know, his threats to Big E or whatever along the way as we move forward from here could be done in this animated form. But if we don't see the animations again, I think it's mostly because of this. Because despite record earnings and tremendous profits, it is very unlike the WWE to continue doing anything that's actually good. And those vignettes and those promos were very good. And reeling back on them is either a sign of that, short of cash, or unwillingness to continue to spend cash to produce them, or it has more to do with what we would see happen by the end of the night on SmackDown during that IC title match. Okay, so now we get to that surprise NXT call-up, and it starts off with Constable King Dickhead Baron Corbin, and he's in the ring, and he's all pissed off because we all know Shinsuke stole the crown last week on SmackDown. He wants his crown back. He says Shinsuke's making it dirty. He wants to win it back, or just procure it and get it back. He's going to polish it up. He's going to clean it up. He's going to make it nice, and he's going to put it back on his stupid bald head, the head of the rightful king, the penis head, Baron Corbin. Okay, so that's the setup for this match. And so, first, the weird thing is he comes out and he's like, I wasn't going to say anything, but Corbin. He's like, I wasn't going to say anything, but. And then goes off in this like 5-minute little tirade against Shinsuke Nakamura. Out of nowhere, we get the debut of Eric Bugenhagen. Okay, if you don't know who he is, then you're not watching NXT. If you do know who he is, then you will be probably disappointed to know that they changed his name. And his name is Rick Boogs. Rick Boogs. And I think that the announce team thought this was very funny, this name, Rick Boogs, because they couldn't get enough of saying the word Boogs. So Rick Boogs interrupts playing his guitar and then introduces Shinsuke Nakamura, the true king of SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke comes out. Boogs is playing the guitar. He's playing that Shinsuke Nakamura riff alongside Shinsuke as he walks into the ring. And I'm watching this and I'm like, all right, this is, I guess, kind of cool. I'm getting kind of an Elias vibe right now, and that's not the type of vibe you want to be giving off on your debut. It seemed just kind of out of place, seemed a little bit silly. I know Shinsuke's that type of a person to come out in these grandiose entrances. We had him walking to the ring once upon a time with the violin person. You know, I just don't understand the connection here. You know, Bugenhagen wasn't even on the roster the same time as Shinsuke. Obviously, maybe he's just a big fan like the rest of us. I don't know if they're going to continue on with this. Was this a one-time thing? This match was Shinsuke versus Corbin. Shinsuke gets to defeat Baron Corbin for the first time in a while after having lost to Baron Corbin on multiple occasions in multiple different varieties of matches, being the one pinned in tag team matches by Baron Corbin, but once again was finished with another distraction finished caused by the Boog playing guitar. Rick Boog, the good guy in the scenario, decides to start playing Shinsuke Nakamura's theme. This was enough to distract Baron Corbin to be rolled up by Shinsuke. And what's the point? What's the point? Shinsuke got one win in how many weeks? Like, this doesn't make them even. You can't say it's 50-50 booking because Corbin's still on top. He's been made to be the better looking star of the two. I was hoping that this was going to lead to the return of a King of the Ring tournament, or, Shinsuke challenging Corbin one-on-one for the crown, this would not be unprecedented. We've seen things like that happen before. But now with the Boogs being involved, I don't know. This just seemed kind of silly. Nakamura wins. He walks out with his buddy victorious, playing his music on guitar once again. There's a fine line to walk here with this guy. It could go down the road of Elias, or we could end up in Honky Tonk Man territory. There used to be that big fat dude, Man Mountain Rock, that used to come out and play the guitar solos. He was entertaining. He was, I guess, kind of over in NXT. I didn't think his gimmick had a place on the main roster. But I guess we will see. And I'm almost positive that Vince was in the back cracking his ass up every time he heard them say Boogs. His name is Rick Boogs, and he's going to play guitar. Man, he could play guitar, though. That's a tough riff to have to play. So you got to give props to that. Jimmy Uso in the back, talking to Sonya Deville, gets himself and his brother a match versus the Street Profits. He wants to get back in the hunt for the tag team titles, and he thinks that the Usos want the smoke. So Sonya Deville gives him his wish, and the Uso brothers will now be fighting the Street Profits next week on SmackDown. Thanks to Sonya. I don't mind it. It's a match we haven't seen the Street Profits have before. 4 tremendous talents. Should be a great match, but it wouldn't be that easy for Jimmy, as we will see as the night continues to unfold. Jimmy is certain that Jay has his back. That remains to be seen. Kevin Owens cut a great promo tonight, promising that he will win and become a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Paul Heyman hit the ring. Reigns said he's a humble man. I'm a humble man, and he doesn't want to brag. So he's going to let Paul Heyman do it for him. One of the only things that were really wrong with this is one of WWE's things they've been doing lately. Roman Reigns came out for this segment, and then they went to the Kevin Owens Intercontinental title match promo, which went a solid 2 to 3 minutes. Then they recapped Roman versus Cesaro, including the post-match beatdown by Seth Rollins in his drippy rainbow jacket, which means Roman was standing in the ring listening to his own music for a solid 10 minutes. There's no fans in attendance. They can get away with this kind of shit still, but how awkward is that? Just standing out there. They got to time these things just a little better. Paul Heyman takes the microphone and does all the talking for Roman Reigns. He praises the Tribal Chief for being the one to get rid of Edge, as he has not been seen since WrestleMania. He has also praised him for ridding SmackDown of the presence of Daniel Bryan, and then goes on to say that being Roman Reigns' advocate and being able to acknowledge Reigns as the champion has been a highlight of Paul Heyman's career. This made Roman Reigns... Then Paul Heyman was like, if there's anything I can do for you. It was just a loaded kind of question you can ask. What if Roman Reigns turned around and be like, wash my back, bitch? I need somebody to wash my back. I can't reach the middle part. What if he turned around and was like, I want you to fight Jimmy Uso next week, Paul Heyman. Knock his ass out for me. What if he turned around and was like, we're going to go in the back and we're going to do things Deliverance style in the locker room? If there's anything you need, like he's a fucking king. Dangerous question to ask any man. He didn't want his dick sucked. He didn't want any of those things that I mentioned. What he wanted from Paul Heyman was for him to get Jimmy Uso. But instead, we would get Cesaro. Cesaro would come out with his arm in a sling, selling the injury from the pay-per-view. He wants another shot. He wants one more opportunity. Challenge Roman Reigns to a match at Hell in a Cell. Roman laughed at this and asked if he should go out and break Cesaro's other arm. Suddenly, and without warning, Seth Rollins comes out in a whole nother level of crazy drip outfit, and not in a good way. Now, I don't mind the Day of the Dead pattern. I actually kind of like it in and around Halloween time, but, I don't think I would ever buy a jacket that had a matching shirt and tie in the same exact pattern. It was just a hot mess on top of Seth Rollins. It's just not something that I would do. Would you do that? I don't know. I would at least want to break something up somewhere, at least have a different color tie, the same kind of shirt with the same jacket, just all blended in together. I don't know. This guy went from wearing crazy colors to all kinds of ridiculous patterns, and I hate Seth Rollins' sense of style. It's an assault on my eyes, and I just don't like it. I also don't like how he continues to get involved in this Cesaro versus Roman Reigns thing. This is just a repeat of what we have been seeing happening with Seth Rollins. He didn't have all that much to say, but he beat the ever-loving shit out of Cesaro, delivering not one but two curb stomps, the second one being on the entrance ramp, that steel ramp that the wrestlers come out of, and it was a done deal. EMTs had to come out. They took Cesaro away on a stretcher. Seth Rollins kept running over to him, yelling at him, blaming him, saying this is his fault, making me act like this, you're making me do this, you're making me do this. Which is an interesting thing happening. Seth Rollins is in this weird psychological frame of mind, and he's absolutely coming apart at the seams. This may be a lot more interesting if it was not for Roman Reigns being the best heel on the SmackDown roster, but it's got to be tough to be a heel on SmackDown right now, trying to follow what this guy is doing. It's interesting at the very least. He's not, coming out with all his little stupid catchphrases. Like right now, Seth Rollins is having a mental breakdown, and it's all because he was swung by Cesaro, and the guy just won't let it go. So we're going to continue down this road. And it was okay. It's just, once again, a little bit more of the same. We've been seeing this. How many more times are we going to see it? I expect an explanation from Seth Rollins next week. Probably won't see Cesaro selling the injuries from this week's attack. At least that's my prediction for it. We'll have to wait and see if that comes true. Poop hammer time. Now, normally, like I said, I hate when champions are pinned on television. That's fine. I don't mind when champions win matches on most occasions, but let's just realize for 1 second that Dominic Mysterio, giant baby son, the giant baby champ, on SmackDown tonight, defeated former NXT champion, former TNA World Heavyweight champion, former glorious Bobby Roode. Robert Roode, Bobby Roode, Bobby Poo, well, whatever you want to call him. Tonight you can call him a loser because he lost to Dominic Mysterio. And this is a weird thing for me, man. Like, I don't mind them trying to build up the kid, but this match was maybe like 4 minutes long. It just doesn't add up. And to make things even worse, once again, instead of branching off the Mysterios into some new uncharted territory, maybe making them face any other possible team on SmackDown, we're just continuing down the same road with Bobby Roode saying the same shit. He wants to prove Dominic don't belong here. So naturally, Dominic gets the win. The good news is his frog splash this week was much better than the one he hit last time these guys fought when they won the championships last week. Jimmy Uso had a confrontation with Jey Uso. Jimmy was happy and was celebrating the fact that they're getting this match, but Jey didn't seem to take too much of a liking to it. He asked why he made that match without asking him. Jimmy said that Jey won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal without Roman Reigns, that this is about them. They don't have to do this with Roman Reigns. Jey looked like he thought about it for a minute and said, no, still, man, I have to do the right thing. I got to go tell Roman about this match next week. Then on the first of multiple occasions, not the first, one of many occasions on the night, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole kept talking about the fans coming back. I'm as excited as they are. I don't mind them talking about it. They could have talked about it for a solid half hour. I think I would have watched it and been more excited than the actual first half of this show. Jey Uso then did what he said. He talked to Roman Reigns in his dressing room saying that Jimmy made the match without even asking him. Roman then made it very clear that everything is about the family. Everything that they do is about them being together, a unit as one. And then he whispered something in Jay's ear and then walked off. We had a promo from the Street Profits talking about their match against the Usos, historic match, first time ever match against the Usos next week, where they did a little bit of an impression of the Usos, which was pretty good. This was the Street Profits a little bit back to their proper form, not too much with the jokey, a lot more with the intense seriousness, and I appreciated that very much. We then get the announcement that Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are going to get their shot at the tag team champions Natty and Tamina this Monday on Raw. Somebody make me throw up, please. And then we had the fatal 4-way Intercontinental Championship match. Apollo Crews defeating Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and a red-hot Big E, thanks to the emergence from the smoke and the shadows of Aleister Black, as he delivers a Black Mass kick heard round the world tonight, ending Big E's hopes and dreams of finishing tonight's episode of SmackDown, regaining an Intercontinental Championship he believes to be his. The action in this match was phenomenal. The only thing I could say as a criticism of this match is everything that happened exactly the way it happened should have been on WrestleMania Backlash. I talked about it last week when they made the booking, why the Intercontinental Championship wasn't featured like this at the pay-per-view. I will never know. I do, however, as a counterpoint, appreciate the Intercontinental Championship being featured as the main event of this show. It was more important tonight than Roman Reigns, more important tonight than everything else that's been going on, and rightfully so. These four men went out there and beat the snot out of each other. Lots of high-flying moves, lots of big-time power moves, some really big set-piece spots. There was a double suplex out of the corner. Sami Zayn got thrown halfway across the ring. There was a lot of really impressive spots, lots of near falls, most of them not even including the Intercontinental Champion. Apollo Crews nearly lost his title tonight on multiple occasions thanks to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn igniting their rivalry once again, constantly targeting one another. Big E on a roll, throwing everybody around. Definitely had this match won towards the end, if not for the interference of Yabba Dabba Aziz, Commando Aziz, which brings up an interesting question. Also, considering the ending, Aleister Black comes out, he hits the Black Mass, costing Big E this matchup, right? No disqualifications in a Fatal 4-Way, no countouts in a Fatal 4-Way. Why wasn't Yabba Dabba Dooza a little bit more involved in this matchup, just logistically? If you think about it, this guy stood out there and waited the whole match for Apollo to almost be pinned by Big E to pull Big E off, which was just enough of a distraction for Aleister Black to come out and kick Big E's face off. So if Aleister can do that, then why wasn't Yabba Dabba in there throughout the match beating everybody up for Apollo Crews? It just, I mean, I know the obvious answers because, well, that wouldn't really make too much sense, right? Nobody's going to write that. But when you look at it, it's a logic hole. It's like he could have done anything and it wouldn't have had any ramifications to Apollo Crews. He wouldn't have lost the title. His whole job is to protect the man. But instead, Apollo has to thank Aleister Black and not his commando. Just was a little bit strange to me there. But other than that, this match, the entrances started at 9:25. The match itself didn't start till about 9:35. We had a solid 25 minutes of action to finish this show. If you missed the Fatal 4-Way, it's definitely worth going back and watching. An absolutely outstanding performance by all four gentlemen involved. The Aleister Black involvement at the end opens up a whole can of worms that we need to tune in next week to find out what the hell is going on. Why is Big E his target? What was his intention? Was he hired by Apollo Crews? It's interesting, but here they have to be very careful because by putting Aleister Black with Big E on his first run in this new packaging, they have to be very careful because you don't want to take off some of the shine that Big E has been building up since his separation from the New Day. He's a former Intercontinental Champion. He was seemingly on that path back to that glory. And he's one of the white-hot acts on SmackDown right now. As we talked about before, his charisma, he's entertaining. His matches have been great. His feud with Apollo Crews, he definitely brought Apollo up with him on the roster. I'm sorry for my New York coming out there on the roster. My Jim Brewer on the roster. But they also have to be careful with what they're doing with Aleister because you don't want him now losing to Big E, coming back and just going right back to where he came from. You already ruined his first incarnation. Now you have this new look, new packaging, Aleister Black, new cartoon vignettes, whole new direction with the guy. Sure, you could simultaneously build them off each other, but it's a very thin line they're going to be able to walk. Very, very carefully they must tread forward because it's very easy for them to damage both of these guys. 50-50 booking is not protecting anybody. It's not the way to go. And I'm very intrigued with how the future is going to go as it pertains to Big E and Aleister Black. E's definitely going to want his revenge. Black's got some splaining to do. I'm just a little bit nervous about when it's all said and done. Is Aleister Black going to end up back at the bottom of the barrel? Are they going to undo all of the great things that they have done to build up Big E and sacrifice that to Aleister Black only to have another big heel on SmackDown to sacrifice to nobody? I don't know. You see how that's why it's intriguing, because it is so confusing. But for the most part, SmackDown tonight was great at the end. Great at the end. A great main event with a surprise attack. And that's all you can ask for. How many times do I beg and plead? Can't we do surprises anymore? I didn't see this coming. I know you didn't see it coming. Let me know what you thought about everything that happened of tonight's SmackDown in the comment section down below. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Blue, Mr. Blue, the Yeti microphone, no longer the Snowball. He's bigger, he's badder than ever, and he's making me sound fantastic and smooth as butter in your earballs. The most important member of this team, as always, each and every one of you guys. And now it's your part, Sledge Nation. It's your time to do your part, Sledge Nation. I'm sorry, I'm tired. We've been babbling now for so long. Let's wrap this thing up. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's show in any way, shape, or form. Make sure to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need a community to come and join and shit all over the WWE with the rest of my brothers and sisters here at Sledge Nation. And of course, if you're not already a member, all you have to do is subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're notified so that you don't miss anything that we put up on this channel. Memberships are coming to the channel. Please hit me up with your suggestions. What are some of the things that you would want to see me do that might make you more willing to fork over your hard-earned cash and be a full-blooded member of this channel, other than obviously the emojis and the badges and the usual things that come with a YouTube channel membership? Would you guys want special videos, early access to videos? I don't know what the fuck a Discord is, but if you want me to open that, we could do that too. But just let me know if it's going to be worth my time. You want to come with me over on Twitch? Maybe we could play some video games together. I don't know. I don't know if there'll be enough time. Maybe I'll have to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Maybe I'll have to go to Target and do some shopping. I don't know. My life is pretty hectic, but I would rather spend my time here with you guys than at my real job. And in order to do that, we need to grow, and I need you guys to help me, because my brain goes about 1,000 miles an hour and I can't stop long enough to get my thoughts together. And if I can have a little bit of assistance from my most loyal of sledgeheads, which I know is all that's watching right about now at 40-something minutes deep into the Smackdown review, please hit me up. Let me know. Comment section is yours for just that. Suggestions are welcome. Not making any promises that I'll deliver on all of it, but I want to give you guys back something that would benefit us both in the long run. Thank you all for your time today. Thank you for joining me for the Smackdown review, and don't forget to be here Monday night when the hammer comes down on Monday Night Raw. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here. If you missed anything, it'll be up in the annotations in the left-hand side of the screen. That's going to do it. We are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. And for that fatal four-way, in a non-sarcastic way, we can say
Thanks, Vince. Oh.